Headlines today, Paris under siege. So what's really going on in France right now? Because the farmers are protesting and they have been protesting for actually a while. This is not the first, but let me share with you what's really going on. And let me add a few pictures here onto the screen, which are going to speak louder than words. Let me play this video with the sound off. This is what was happening. So Perpignan is in the south, close to the border with Spain. They were protesting outside of Paris in the countryside. So that's the Homeland Security, the equivalent of the Homeland Security Minister right there. And they were protesting no, I don't want notification. No. So in the province, pretty much a lot in the southwest, because it's a very agricultural area. Yeah, they are mad and blocking the street. So they were putting manure on the street, burning tires. I mean, kind of the usual in France. It happens. And what's interesting is to hear them out here. I don't want to take side whether they're right or wrong, but hearing them out is actually interesting because they're not asking for additional money. They're asking to survive here. And what they say here, our goal isn't to bother or to ruin French people's life. Our goal is to put pressure on the government to rapidly find solution out of this crisis because it is a crisis for them. They cannot survive anymore. This is, unfortunately, they're at this point where, so they assert that higher prices for fertilizer, energy, and other inputs for growing crops and feeding livestock have eaten into their income. That's one of the things. Higher cost of everything, we all know. Protesters also argue that France's massively subsidized farming sector is over-regulated and hurt by food imports from countries where agricultural producers face lower costs and fewer constraints. So they're pretty much asking the government to cut the red tape here. There's too much paperwork, too much condition for them to fulfill around the growth of the food. They have to, I don't know how much land they have to leave aside every year and rotate. And now they're facing competition from countries who don't have these requirements and can sell at a lower price, and it's just not fair. So they have some good arguments here asking the government to stop this and negotiate with Europe, with Brussels, because some of these constraints are actually set by Brussels. So they're using Ukrainian sugar producers as an example, saying their soaring exports to Europe since Russia invaded in February 2022 are untenable for European counterparts. They just cannot face it. So taxi drivers are jumping in. I mean, let's just take this opportunity for more protest here. So they're adding to the traffic chaos. Here is just another one on the cherry on top of the cake, as you would say in English. But the main thing is the farmers. See here with the tires on the highway. That's really what happened. They were blocking the highways, and initially it was in the province, so in the south a lot. But what they decided, given it was going nowhere, is to get to Paris. So now they are trying to block the main highways leading to Paris, which is why they're saying Paris is under siege. And that includes the market of Rungis, where I think I had a picture somewhere. That's a good one. That's not Rungis, that's the countryside, but you see how they block the roads pretty much. So yes, they are trying to blockade the key routes into the French capital, including the big market of Rungis, which supplies Paris for most of its food. So it's in the south of Paris, and they have deployed, actually, look at this, military protection in front of the Rungis market since Sunday night. So it's just been because they're afraid for the provisioning of the city. 15,000 police military force have been mobilized to really keep these tractors, all the farmers, away from the capital, from Paris and from the other major cities. But here, Paris is probably the one that's the most symbolic and the most at risk. Right now, they are blocking the highway that's north, getting to Paris from the international airport, and they're trying to get to the one south, which is like, it's a national airport that is next to the market of Rungis. So this is where we are at. So if you hear in the news, Paris under siege, not completely yet. We're trying to avoid it, but they're trying really hard to block it. See, hundreds of thousands of farmers moved to block major highways to Paris on Monday, as similar protests took place in Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. So you might hear a bit less of these countries because the French are professional protesters. We are really good at it. So usually that's what you show on the TV and so on. But yeah, while farming unions have called the protest a siege of Paris, secondary roads to the city have remained open. That's the thing. You have many ways to Paris. So it's just becoming very inconvenient, very slow, a lot of traffic, a lot of pollution, given we're trying to be green. That definitely does not go into that direction here. But yeah, we can do cheap farming. This is really what they're saying here. We need to be able to make a living from our trade. And right now they are not. The farmers are dying. And France we produce some good food. It's non-GMO. There's good meat, good fruits, good vegetables, but they can compete when you've got imports that do not follow the same regulations, whether it's environmental regulations and the rest, the kind. So, and so much red tape, as you see here, coming from Brussels and the French government. So that's really what's going on. The new young prime minister is trying to negotiate. But he's it's a tough first weeks on the job here. They want you to actually cut the subsidies on diesel fuel, which is used for the tractor, and they wanted to cut it, and they decided not to do it yet, given what was going on. But yeah, a bit of French news here, and given I am on Le Figaro, if I open the front page just to show you the headlines, other than that, it's probably pretty high. Yes, see, that's him. That's the prime minister right there sitting with the farmers. That's the headlines. Yeah, the prime minister needs to explain to the farmers the government strategy. Good luck here. So they just finished their first meeting with the prime minister, and it lasted 3.5 hours. Nice. So they are north of the second city in France, blocking the highways, not the secondary routes. But yeah, very inconvenient. We're talking football a bit here in Africa. Let's take a break. More of the farmers, taxi drivers, adding the teachers now. Teachers as well. It's a week of all social dangers. Okay, everybody wants to get on strike. So we're adding one more group. Oh, and another one. Hold on. One more. Transportation. So this is the subway in Paris. The picture you see here. They just put down on paper that they're advising that in the coming 8 months, so up to the end of the Olympic Games, they might actually be on strike. So it's a big window, and they can decide to be on strike anytime during these 8 months. All right. So that's, I mean, the subways and the trains, it's pretty usual, I have to say, unfortunately. All right. Next, we're going to Israel. Okay. All right. Hamas would like a ceasefire with Israel. More here, that was the picture entering the market of Rungis with the military to protect. Oh, that's a big French actor. Okay. Yeah, he had some issues with people using him when he was becoming a bit old. More of the farmers here. It's just the farmers. I mean, that's all you see. That is Corsica. Corsica, what do they want their independence. It's that island south of France in the Mediterranean. Independent. Okay. I don't know what they're doing here. They want to be independent, but I'm not sure they can survive being independent. All right, some more of these farmers here. That's all you see. Drug trafficking. there's a French narco trafficant that was arrested in Venezuela. Wow. Okay. All right. He was arrested. He had already been detained in France and Venezuela and had been released and got, well, okay, well, they got him again then, I guess. But yeah, just a quick overview. Other French news, pretty much farmers, 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 and that is it. So hope for a good outcome and keeping our agricultural production healthy, because we all need it. So hope you find this useful. If you did, as always, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Thank you all for watching.